What's going on, boss?
Just moving stuff around.
We're gonna move this. We're gonna totally change this room around, India.
We're gonna try, aren't we?
We're gonna rip it apart and make it better. The room's empty. Look at that. Telly's gone. Feels massive. Don't it, love? Hey. This room's wasted though. Look at this.
It's a write-off, isn't it?
This is our house. Now what we're going to do is completely renovate this room. We're going to rip it out, start again. This is my wife Holly. Holly,
hi.
YouTube. Say hi.
Hi.
So, she's big boss. I have no plans. I don't get a say in this house.
I like this. Yeah.
She says everything. So, everything from this point, it's her idea. Show us what you're thinking, what we want to be working with. So first thing we're going to look is to move this plug socket. Now, basically I'm going to spare off it, which means we're just going to link another plug socket to this one, travel it up and move it behind the telly when it moves. We don't want any cables showing, we want to hide everything. So, two cables coming in. So we've got the ring in and ring out. Now with any plug socket, one spur on a plug socket ring is fine. By the way, I'm not an electrician, I'm a plasterer, so don't listen to anything I say. Cut out, chase out a line all the way through and put a new socket there. So we're gonna have to do some damage, and then all I'm gonna leave is this intact and have a cable coming out, so when it comes to the second fix, we can connect to this and we'll have a live socket. Centre of the wall marked out, got a box, simply draw around it, got the box drawn on the wall, going to cut across now. Now the thing is with electrics, you've got to work in zones, so you can't just cut a diagonal line from plug socket to plug socket, you kind of got to work across from the socket and down. So if there's ever a socket in the way, there's a cable that could be running horizontally or vertically, so you've got to make sure that when you're doing it you work within zones. Okay, so there's a few things to consider here. We've got a single back box. What we need to do is add a grommet. It's one of these things. This protects the cable when it comes through, so just knock where the grommet's accessible. Just like that. Put your finger in there. Shake it out. Put your grommet in. Like so. And then we can fix it into the wall. So once that's in, I can fix that in place. This is 2.5 twin and earth cable, and basically we're just going to run it from socket to the socket we just cut out from the bottom. Again, put a grommet in the other back box also. Just going to run it through and then clip it into the wall. Now this cable, this ring is RCD protected. I'm in the zone, so I don't need to use capping. Now I would have used capping, but there's hardly no depth to the plasterboard. By the time I put the capping on and the cable, it's probably going to be thicker than the board itself, so I'm just going to have to clip it in place and then bond it out. So capping would have been better, but not today. So let's whack that in there. we've got our new cable. Okay, so I've got some PVA mixed up, 3 to 1. And we're just going to get it right in there. Don't be scared, proper soak the block up. Soak it all the way along. Now I'm also going to overlap the edges a little bit, and I'll explain that why in a minute. Now there's 2 things we're going to use here. We're going to use bonding, British gypsum bonding, which is an undercoat plaster, and some render mesh. Let me explain why for both. Bonding, usually for block work, masonry work, you want to use hardwall, which is designed just for masonry. But when I'm patching, I prefer to use bonding. And the render mesh is, I find normal screen tape tends to crack. So I much prefer to use this thicker, high-grade product when I'm dealing with chasing, and that it's just a lot stronger and prevents it from cracking in the future. Grab a bit of bonding, fill it up. Make sure you've really squeezed it into the gap. I'm going to cut some strips of this mesh. I'm just going to bed it in to the crack there. Have a little bit. Take a bit more. You can see that bonding really pushing through the tape. Do it again. Now we know that section is covered, there's no way that's going to crack back again. That's it, that whole area bonded, scrimmed, safe. Now I'm going to plaster this wall. I don't agree in patching, I'm going to explain why in the other videos. I'm a plasterer, not a decorator, so we are going to skim it. So, our home has become the building site. I'm going to show you and document this work as we go on through. So it's kind of a new way of showing our concept. I'm going to try and move on from just how-to tutorials and just try and do daily stuff. So, let's see how it goes. Next, and tomorrow I'm going to show you the worst thing I hate in all the world, and that is plumbing. And I've got to deal with it. So, see you tomorrow.